Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Now this is a nice piece of London plane. Now London plane is known for the remarkable figure you get in the wood, and it also has a nickname of lacewood. Now there is another wood referred to as lacewood, but that's Brazilian lacewood, and it comes from South America. So don't confuse it with that. This is a European species of tree, and it's a hybrid between the maple and the oriental plane. Now the reason why it's called lacewood is because if you look closely at the figure on the grain, you get these incredibly fine wavy lines. Now I have turned this before. I turned it for the last giveaway piece we did when we had a remarkable piece of London plane burl. Now we're not going to expect to see quite as much figure on this piece, but then again I didn't pay anywhere near as much for this piece as I did for the last one. Now you may also notice that I'm wearing a brand new smock. I asked Lovell Workwear Limited if they would make me up some orange smocks, orange being one of my favourite colours. It's not on their standard range, but because I ordered 6, they were very happy to do so. So thank you very much indeed, guys. I really do appreciate it. They've done a fantastic job on the embroidery, and hopefully these will last for very many years. Now if you're interested in a smock, the reason why we wear this particular type of clothing for wood turning is that there's no pockets or anything that can get caught on the lathe on the front of the garment. You've got Velcro for the sleeves to keep them out of the way, and all the pockets are on the back, nice and easy to get to. I'll leave a description to their website below. So anyway, back on with this London plane. Now, we do have a possibility of issues. This area here looks like it's had contact with something quite heavy, and there seems to be a reasonable amount of damage there. I'm sure it's only going to be superficial and fairly shallow, but it's something to point out. There's no cracking. This isn't quite fully seasoned, but I think it'll be absolutely fine to turn. This wood can get very, very dusty when it's dry, so this is probably a good time to turn it. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to mark out an area on the top where we'd like to cut out. Because I would like to try and keep some offcuts of this to make other pieces from. So, what size piece can I get from this? I want to try and keep away from this cracked edge down the back here. I think that should do it. Let's get this over to the bandsaw and we'll cut this out. Okay, there we go. Our blank nicely cut. Nice, quite light wood. I think it'll get a bit darker when we put a finish on it. But there's some beautiful pink hues in there, which is really nice. Right, we'll find the center on this side because we're going to use a worm screw to mount it like that. Now we haven't got an awful lot of bark, so there's no point in trying to look for a natural edge on this. So we're going to turn it the other way around. Find our center. Okay, we're all nice and safely on the lathe, but I've just broken off the handle to my workshop. So I'm going to quickly run down to the shops, buy a replacement, fix it, and then we can get started. Okay, door handle's fixed, so we can get started. Initially going to be turning at 750 RPM with the 3/8 inch bowl gouge. I've got a few high points on these edges, so I just want to try and get those down a bit and start working up the edges. I haven't quite got an idea of what style this is going to be yet, but I'm sure something will spring out as we progress. Okay, that's a good start. We're starting to get this round. We've got some very small cracks here. And this is the area I mentioned before where it looked like it had had an impact. So we do need to get past that. The rest is looking pretty good. Some beautiful colours. And the overall surface of the wood does look very nice indeed. So I'm actually quite excited about this one. Right, let's carry on. See what else we can uncover. Okay, nearly got it round. Just a few bits on the top to go. There's such amazing colour variation in here. And you can see why this is known as lacewood. This pattern on this side here is just, it's so fine and so unique to this type of wood. Now this is the area where we had the impact. You can tell something's going on underneath here. So I want to do a couple more passes just to, first of all, to get this round, but also just to try and figure out what's going on around here, because I don't want to run into any problems a little bit down the line. But this is looking so nice. Okay, that's pretty good. We've still got this little flat spot here, which we need to get rid of. Now, the last few cuts are made there where I was just starting to fold over this top edge. Because what I'm wanting to do, what I think I want to do so far, is to keep this curve going round all the way across the bottom. Okay, so it ends up with a completely round base. There isn't going to be a foot so much on this bowl. We'll have to create a tenon, so we need a way of holding it when we turn it round. But once we've finished hollowing out, we'll turn it back around, take off the tenon, and make sure that this is a beautiful soft curve across the base. It won't fall over. It'll be nice and stable, well, stable-ish. It will spin, it will wobble, but it won't fall over. Right, so we'll get rid of this flat spot, make sure we can get rid of this bark as well, and start creating a tenon. Okay, that's wonderful. I really love this shape. If you imagine now that when we're finishing this piece off, we'll hold it with a jam chuck and we'll end up taking off this tenon and just creating, or just following that curve all the way across the bottom. Now, all we have to do now is just get this tenon to the right size, and then we can sand the outside. Okay, excellent. Right, there's no tear out. This wood really is just absolutely beautiful. Right, I'm going to set up for sanding. I'll let you watch a bit of it, and then I'll bring you back when we're done. Okay, sanding went beautifully. We did have a couple of small little cracks, which I've just put a bit of sawdust in, and with some wood glue as well, and that's sorted those out. So I'll just go on with a bit of isopropyl alcohol, just to give this a wipe over, get any loose dust off, and just have a look at this beautifully simple, elegant grain. These pink spots we've got on here really are quite amazing. Although I do like the shape of the tenon in terms of it being a foot, we are going to carry on with a plan that we've already discussed. I think such a pure piece of simple wood requires the purest and simplest shape we can do to it. Well, we'll just let this dry, and then I'm going to put a shellac on it. We'll hold off on a final finish until we've finished the piece, because we do need to take the tenon off. Okay, that's all nice and dry. So I'm going to go on with a shellac sealer, and then after that I'm just going to give it a quick going over with an abrasive paste when it's dry, of course. I might give 2 coats of sealer actually, because it's sucking this in quite quickly. I'll let this one dry, put on another coat of sealer, and then we'll come back with the abrasive paste. Okay, that's a good time to dry, so I'll go on with our abrasive paste. Right, we'll rub this in with the lathe spinning. We have eye protection on. A little bit of isopropyl alcohol just to clean off any excess grit, and then we can turn it around. Okay, nice and safely turned back round. Tailstock support at the start, just to give us a bit of extra security, and we'll start hollowing out. Initially turning this time at a shade over 800 RPM, and we're continuing on with the 3/8 inch ball gouge. that's a beautiful start. Look at that wood in there. That really is quite incredible. Okay, I can still feel a little bit of moisture in there. That should dry off fairly quickly, I would imagine. It's not sopping wet by any stretch of the imagination. Right, I'm going to take away the tailstock now because I need access into the base of this. And I'm also going to move on to my 45-degree grind 3/8 inch bowl gouge just to help me with these tighter turns. Okay, it's all going well. I just want to see where I am on thicknesses before I go too far. I'm still miles away, but I'm always paranoid about going too far and joining the funnel club again. Hollowing this is so much fun. Right, I've got the right thickness on this edge, but I'm still about 1/2 inch away from the base, so a little bit further yet. I am going to leave a fraction more on the base than I would normally do, just to allow it to always sit nice and steady. Okay, I'm just going to quickly get a scraper in there just to sort out the last couple of edges. I think there's one there I can just feel with my finger, so I'll get in there with a scraper, and then that's that done, apart from tidying up the lip. Right, I'm going to set up for sanding again. I'll let you watch a bit of it, and I'll bring you back when we're done. That was an absolute joy to sand. I don't often get to say that. So we'll give it a wipe down, as usual, with a bit of isopropyl. I think this wood's been left in the wet at some point because there's some spalting in it, which I wasn't quite expecting. Right, when this dries, we'll come back on with a sealer. Okay, that's all nice and dry, so we'll go on with our blonde shellac sealer. I'll give this 2 coats as well, like I did the outside, because with it having some spalting, it does seem to soak this up very, very quickly. Let this first coat dry, put on a second, and then I'll bring you back when we're going on with an abrasive paste. Okay, that's all nice and dry. So we'll go on again with the Northern Grit abrasive paste. I'll just put my eye protection back on. We'll give this one more wipe down with isopropyl, just to remove any excess grit. It's still hanging around. Right, we can let this dry and then I'll think about what kind of finish we want to put on the inside. Okay, now in keeping with this natural shape we've got, I'm going to finish it with the beeswax and mineral oil finish we made up a few weeks ago. This is going to help nourish the wood, which I think it needs. It's going to waterproof it a little bit. And it's going to keep it food safe as well. I'm going to put on a really good healthy amount of this. Let it sit and soak in for a few minutes and then wipe it down and buff it. I'll do a little bit on the outside, although we'll have to do that again once we've taken off the tenon. Right, I'll let this sit for 20 minutes and then I'll come back and we'll buff it off. Okay, that's had plenty of time. Let's polish this up. Okay, right, I'm going to get set up and we'll take off the tenon. Right, I was going to use a jam chuck to take the tenon off. I suddenly remembered I have these cold jaws, and because we've got an undercut on the bowl, these will grip the inside edge very nicely. Just make sure I don't over tighten it. Okay, that's good. Okay, now I've brought up the tailstock just initially, just to keep us safe while we're just nibbling this tenon off. It won't be there for long, but as you know, I always prefer to try and keep myself as safe as possible at all points. So we'll take off this tenon, make sure that we've got a nice smooth line going all the way across, and then we'll start sanding. Okay, excellent. Right, I'm going to quickly sand off this area, put the polish on, and then I'll bring you back and we'll take a look at what we've done. Well, there we go, all done. We've sanded up the base, applied the finish over the whole piece, and it's looking rather nice. Now I'm quite sure that you can't pick up, or you won't be able to see too well the intricacies of the details in the grain on this wood. So I'm going to put some high-res images at the end. But it really is just quite amazing to look at. It's such a fine detail that it's really hard to comprehend just how beautiful it is. I really like the shape. I've always liked this simple design. I know a lot of people prefer fancier bowls and things like that, but there's such a wonderful simplicity to this that I just like. It's very, very tactile, and with not having a foot, people are going to want to play with it and spin it and rock it around and hold it. So it's not just for looking at it, it's for touching, for holding, for feeling. And I love it. If you enjoyed this one, I would really appreciate a like and subscribe and all the usual things. And if you could share it as well, then that would be absolutely amazing. Don't forget that if you do leave a comment as well, you are going to be entered into the giveaway. And that is going to happen next month, no matter what. As it stands, it looks like we're going to have 2 celebration points next month, because I'm fairly certain we're going to hit 50,000 subscribers. And of course, the channel turns 3 years old on March the 16th. So I have a few things planned to what we're going to do. So I hope you stay tuned and get involved with those occasions. If you're interested in upgrading to a nice smock for your wood turning, then please go and check out Lovell Workwear. I'll leave a link in the description. I did pay for this. They're not asking me to do a link. It's just I've always worn their smocks and they've always been brilliant. So if you are wanting to keep yourself a bit safer with something that isn't going to snag on the lathe and it's going to keep your day-to-day clothes nice and clean, then go and check out what they have. They won't be releasing this in orange, I wouldn't think, but they do have a normal range of colours online. But apart from that, thank you very much indeed for watching. I'll see you again soon. Thank you.